Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie Cordero, and I am co-executive director of Families for Depression Awareness. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We are presenting stories, resources, tools, and inspirational messages on the theme Families Together on the Path to Mental Wellness. We hope you take part by following us on Facebook and Twitter, interacting with and sharing our posts, and using the hashtag Path to Wellness. Today, we are highlighting an amazing story of friendship, loss, and ultimately hope. Dan Kenary lost a friend to suicide earlier this year. While coping with the pain of that tragic death, he turned to something that would give him a way through his morning: running. Dan formed a team made up of a group of runners and non-runners who all had the same goal in mind: to raise awareness for mental health. This Saturday, they will run the Shelburne Half Marathon in memory of their friend. So I want to say welcome to Dan and the whole team.
Well, hello, how are we?
Okay. So let's have you all introduce yourselves, please.
Absolutely. So, hello, Valerie, thanks for having us. I'm Dan Kenary, and I thought the best way to kind of introduce everyone is everyone can just go around and say their name real quick.
Yeah, hey guys, my name is George Russo, longtime friend of Dan.
I'm Carter Bennett, John Tang,
Jake Alexander.
And we have other teammates running who are not here, so shout out to them.
Shout out to them for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll start with you, Dan. Can you tell us a little more about yourself and about your journey through running, how you got to be a runner?
Yeah, absolutely. So being 5'7", 185 pounds, I do not have the running body at all. But, the pandemic happened, gyms started to close down, and so I had no outlet to go. At the time, I was at Boston College and coaching there for my master's degree. And so once they sent us home, you shut off from everything, from all social interaction, working out, this, and that. So the only outlet I had was running. And so we are running 13 miles on Saturday, but running 2 miles was a huge challenge for me. But taking on the challenge of that running and pushing myself and having that optimistic mindset is kind of how we got in front of the camera here today. And so that's a little bit about how I got into the running. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. And then we'll kind of all dive into how we got into running, I'm sure, throughout the interview.
Yeah, sure. So I just want to talk about kind of what brought us here today. The pandemic has really been hard on all of us, on everyone. It's been particularly hard on people who already are living with a mental health condition. So one of the things the main thing that brought us here was something that happened this year. Jake, can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, sure. I think in kind of deciding what organization we wanted to run this for, we were going back and forth on different causes. And for me personally, mental health is something that runs deep in my family. And for a long time, it was very stigmatized. It was like, this is the weird thing. It's, they're off. And, my brother in particular, he's going through his process currently. And it was very hard for me to understand what was going on with him. But the point that we started to recognize is that it's not weird. Like, that's such a normal thing in life. And I think understanding that there was such a great stigma for mental health as a whole, but in particular with men. And so we kind of, going through the pandemic, everyone goes through bouts, and I've certainly had depressive episodes. It's really sad to see how little progress was made. And so I think when we decided what organization to go for, we wanted one that was hitting it home, directly. And so in Boston, in the local Boston area, Families for Depression Awareness was a beautiful thing because it's small enough that whatever money we were going to raise, you guys are going to fight like hell, basically, to break that stigma. And so we wanted to partner with someone that was passionate for the same cause and was going to go the extra mile. And you guys have certainly done that. And just one more thing that I want to touch on is I work in healthcare currently, and that's the area that's grossly underaddressed. And so for all of those reasons, I think I wanted to run for mental health. I think everybody here can second most of that, but I think that's how we got to this space, which has been good.
We're real happy that you all chose us, and then even more touched that what you're doing is using this marathon to really honor the memory. Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about that as well, or?
Yeah. So I had found out the news, and first thought is whoa, and so anytime something tragic like that happens, it kind of puts a lot of different things into perspective. And so as an optimistic person, someone who really tries to look at things in a different light, what better way to look at the situation to celebrate life, celebrate the person who he was, how he affected each person. And, even seeing my friend, I'd see him and I'm already like lighting up thinking about him and smiling. And that's that type of energy he had, his energy introduced himself before he even said a word. And so to kind of honor him and to celebrate his life, why not get all the people who love him and are friends with him, get them together, but let's do it in a really positive way. And that's when I started getting into running. And so we knew we wanted to do it with mental health and depression. You guys are such an amazing organization. We're like, this is perfect. The stars have aligned. We've gotten great people together. And kind of just looking at it to celebrate life. I think that was my biggest message to get across for sure.
How big is your team? How many people are on the team?
Right.
Oh man.
So I will say we got an Airbnb up in Vermont that sleeps 16 people. And that's just some of the people who are racing. And then we have extended families, extended friends. And I think we might have a couple people across the states running in his memory, at 8 or 9 a.m. in their time zone too. So they'll be kind of running with us. So it's really cool. It's awesome to see on the Facebook page people posting their trainings as well. I've tried to help a little bit with posting nutrition and training to help, anyone who's interested, but I can't wait for it on Saturday and kind of just see the camaraderie come together. And it's been great. It's been really fun. So
it's gonna be a fun time.
Absolutely.
Group event, that always makes it even more powerful. So we're just a few days away from the race, and some of you were not runners to begin with. So Carter, how has training been? How is it going for you all? I'm picking on you because you were one who did not start off running. Lori says you rock. You guys rock, and I think you all do. So Carter, picking on you, how is training going? Can you walk during the day, or are you just like icing yourself down?
Yeah, no, I'm doing well. I didn't start running until when it was like late October. Yeah. So I think around then, I started getting into running for my mental health. I needed some sort of outlet, so I just started running. And, I think most of what it's been has just been consistency, just trying to run as much as I can and slowly getting the miles up. And, it's been kind of a slow burn. At the beginning, I could barely even run a mile. And then, slowly getting more and more miles and just trying to get more. And at one point I was like, all right, I'm going to do the half marathon. I want to do it. It's something I kind of went through a little bit of a battle with mental health at the end of last year. So it's something that is really important for me because it's kind of a milestone for myself. And then, one day I went out for a run and Dan was talking to me and he's like, how far are you going to go? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to go. And he goes, oh, those are usually the best runs. And, I was running downtown Boston, and all of a sudden I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm running 13 now. And I did it once, and then like 2 weeks later I did it again. So, it's been really insane how quickly I've been able to progress. And it's turned into a love and something that now it's been like my commute. It's a way to, usually when you are done with your work day, you get in your car and it's a way to decompress and turn off and go into personal mode. And, that's now running. Instead of getting in the car, I finish my work day, I go for a run, I come back, and then it's time for myself. So overall, feeling good, very excited, and it's going to be an awesome time to run with everybody.
Good, good. So everyone who's watching, if you want to give a message to our team, just go ahead and write something in the comments. We'll show it. We got to keep them encouraged because their race is coming up in a couple of days. So let's see more of those inspirational messages and go team messages there in the comments. So you all decided to raise money, as you mentioned before, to support Families for Depression Awareness and to really honor your friend. And although the race isn't until Saturday, you have already raised over $10,000, which is incredible. I know your fundraiser on Facebook was shared many times, and that probably helped a lot. But how have you done this? Jonathan, tell us, please, how have you gotten to the point where you all have surpassed your goal of $10,000 with the fundraiser still going until May the 10th?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's kind of started off a little bit longer ago. Me and Dan did a smaller fundraiser back in February?
March.
I think it's back in March where I guess, we kind of figured out that we could utilize social media to help, raise funds for a good cause. So we did that in a span of about 48 hours. Me and Dan were able to raise it was like $2,500, something along those lines, doing a similar type of running challenge. I guess we're lucky that we're kind of born in this era where we have social media to utilize to get more exposure to more individuals. So what we did was, we brought that back for this fundraiser. So I know we created the page on Facebook. We've been, on Instagram every day posting our training on our stories. We kind of created a game plan back before April started, so about a little over a month ago. We're going to be posting our training on Instagram every day, with the hashtag Strides Against Stigma, posting the link to the fundraiser on Facebook. And as you've seen, I think we have over 200 individual donors, and now we're just over, I think, $10,500. So if you're listening, thank you. If you've donated, if you haven't donated yet, please do. We really appreciate it. As you can see, it goes a long way. And yeah.
And Valerie, I will say too that, I think it resonated with everyone. Although I haven't suffered from mental depression, I know others, and I feel like everyone knows someone. So I think that was also a major contributor to as well as the pandemic, affecting a lot of people's mental health and really putting the light on the issue. So it's been great. And again, thank you to everyone who's donated. It's been awesome for sure.
Well, Leslie says that Leslie loves your project, your community, that you've done for your community. They wish that everybody can do the same, and I agree. I'm going to post again the link to your fundraiser in the chat, so if people do want to donate directly there, they can do so. We really appreciate the support, and that money raised will support our programs for teens and families. We do upstream suicide prevention education, and we do rely on donations and grants in order to do that work, so the money does go a long way. So let's move back to Dan again. Has training for the race and raising the money, running in your friend's memory, have these things impacted the way that you've been processing the loss?
Yeah, for sure. And Jake and I have had a lot of conversations about just simply gratitude and being so thankful for the opportunities we have and for the friends and the support system that we have. As well as it sets your priorities straight as well. On top of the pandemic and what had happened, you always take a step back and you say, all right, what am I doing? Am I helping others out there? Am I making the right decisions for this, and that? And so just it puts life in a perspective, I would say, for sure. And, you give mom and dad or your brother or sister the text, hey, love you, this and that. And doing those small things has definitely been a major part of my life ever since. And so, yeah, it's been a whole perspective switch for me personally. I don't know if you guys want to kind of touch on that.
And on top of that, so for everyone that's listening, when Dan's talking about we've discussed gratitude, we co-host a podcast called French Pest. This is not an ad; it's just to explain. It's to explain some background. But a point you had made that I wanted to touch on is how important social support is and how important your network is. So just from the outside, I want to say to the people from Holden, it's incredible to see how you guys have rallied in the memory of your friend. It's actually the majority of the donations has come from you guys, and just from someone on the outside, seeing how tight knit your group is. You're gonna have 50. You're gonna have a whole fan section in Shelburne, Vermont, for God's sakes. It's incredible, and it just shows the love and support that you guys have. You're working with it, and especially in the space of mental health, we know it's critical that we're all in it together. It's a team effort. It's collaborative. And I think that through this process, we've just seen how important self-love and demonstrating love to others is, and gratitude and social support. So I just wanted to touch on that and say to the Holden crew, at least, it's been unreal. So
for sure. And if I can actually chime in here, I think a lot of you guys have probably seen this just with the fundraising that we've been doing. One of the coolest parts that I thought was seeing people that I hadn't talked to in years reach out to us saying that they're really excited to just be a part of something like this, because just being a part, no matter how small, of an event like this, a fundraiser, it's really uplifting, both for you, for them, and just for everyone involved. So I think that's really cool that I've just been seeing these messages come in from people I haven't talked to in years.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's awesome.
Real quick, just to mention as well, George, kind of building off that, I've had a bunch of people reach out being like, good luck and seeing your training.
Oh, yeah.
The Shelburne Half Marathon sent us an email that has a link to an app you can download and track all of us, so you can see our progress throughout the race. If anyone wants to follow along, I'm going to throw my link at least in the Facebook group. Check it out. You can see my time, see how we're running. All that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be sweet.
We should do that.
Well, share that with us. We will certainly share it with our audience as well. And that way we can all see how you're doing on Saturday. So as our final question, you all have touched on this throughout, but is there any other takeaway message that you want people to get from not only the race on Saturday, but from our conversation today? What do you want people to know about mental health, about suicide, or about really coming together as a community to uplift each other? What anyone wants to speak on any of those things?
Yeah, for sure. Valerie, I can take this one to start. I actually do suffer from depression. And some mild anxiety as well. And luckily, I've been doing really well with it recently and for the past few months, which has been awesome. But I think, and this is speaking from a little bit of personal experience, mental health really does affect a lot of people. And I know a lot of my friends at least know someone that's impacted by it. But even if you don't think you do, you probably do. And for those people, they can be really good at hiding it. So when they do decide to tell someone or tell you that they feel like they're suffering from this thing, that's a really huge moment. And I think it's really important to continue to treat them the way that you've been treating them, as if they never had this sort of mental health disorder to suffer from, because the last thing they want is for you to be treating them differently because of this. And I think that goes really well into another point about mental health is it's not exactly treated the same way as a physical injury is today, but that doesn't make it any less real. And while you can exercise and you can eat healthy, and those are good things you should do regardless, these are still real medical issues that require real medical help. So it doesn't help anyone to just say, can't you just get over this? It's a real thing. And like a lot of us have mentioned before, just a great support system is one of the best things you can do to start.
And I can add to that too, Valerie, if that's all right. I don't know if you're going to say something. So Jake and I had interviewed a friend on the podcast, and he was an amazing person to speak to. And so there were 3 major points that he had stated. So I had them written down that I just want to get across to everyone. So the first one was, don't ask how someone is with depression. Provide an environment for them to feel comfortable enough to open up about their struggles, even if it may take a while. So his name is Zach. Zach was a stranger throughout the whole year. We had worked together, and without me knowing it, our relationship had, really developed to the point a year later, he's telling me had depression and had been suffering with it for a while, but I had no idea for the past year. So that first one really had resonated with me. The second one, if you're one with depression, do things that you enjoy, invest in yourself, and do something every day that makes you enjoy the moment, which is really cool. I think we kind of get focused on too many things at once, and we forget to stay in the present moment, let alone with just the people around us. So I think that's huge. And the last one is, and I thought this was the most important one that really resonated with me, is you can't compare your depression to other people's depression or struggle. Your struggle is just as important than anyone else's. And we all struggle on different planes, was a little saying that he had stated. So those are the three main things that I had taken away, or Jake and I had taken away from our conversation.
And I just want to wrap up with that, to the last point about how everyone struggles in different planes. You're supposed to feel good about yourself. You're supposed to be happy. And when something's off, as hard as it may seem in the moment, and I thought Zach did an amazing job discussing this, the biggest step is taking the chance and trusting someone. And I'm speaking from personal experience. When you talk to someone, that weight that's lifted off of your shoulders, and it's really hard to put that trust in people. You have to recognize that it will get better, and it only is going to get better with change. So does anyone else have any?
I love that.
Yeah.
No, I love it.
So to everyone listening, to everyone who's donated, that's the message I want to get across, at least, is you should be happy, demonstrate self-love, and take chances and trust that people are going to listen to your struggle. It's super important. So when I'm running, that's what I'm thinking of, and that's the message I want to get across.
Well, I think that's a wonderful way to end this conversation. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone, and those who are not even on the call today, but that are going to be running on Saturday in the Shelburne Half Marathon. We appreciate you. And to everyone who's donated to your fundraiser, we thank you. So thanks, team.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to hear their story. I know everyone is going to join me in cheering them on Saturday. For those of you who are listening, we encourage you to donate to the team's fundraiser using the link that was shared a couple of times in the comments. I encourage you to follow Families for Depression Awareness on Facebook and Twitter, and use the hashtag #PathToWellness to engage in our Mental Health Month activities. If you have a loved one living with bipolar disorder, I also want you to know that you can register for next week's Fireside Chat. That is one that we will be doing with Courage to Caregivers. So that's going to be happening. The information is now on the bottom of your screen. That's happening next Thursday. So if you have someone, again, who lives with bipolar disorder, or if you yourself live with bipolar disorder, then you can learn a lot from that chat that we're going to be participating in next Thursday. So once again, we thank the team. We thank all of you who are watching today and all those who donated. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.